Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are going to check out another of these incredible Wonder artistic models, and this time we have a really fun one. So the first time we had an Allosaurus, now the second time we have an entirely different type of creature, as we have a marine reptile. We've got ourselves a Mosasaurus, and this is going to be incredibly epic because I have 0 Mosasaurus skeletons in my collection as far as I can recall, so I'm very excited to check one of the Wonder Artistic Models versions out. So we've got to open this up, and then here on the back you can see we have that really neat looking Wonder Artistic Models logo with the adorable looking Parasaurolophus, and as we can also see, it's kind of starting to open up on its own, so let's go ahead, pop this open, and we'll check out the Mosasaurus that is within that paper package, and you can immediately see what the head sculpt looks like. Incredibly cool. We've got, again, it's a 3D puzzle. We've got 117 pieces in the Mosasaurus. I love the artwork that they usually have here in the front of the packaging. Really nice looking. And then here on the back, kind of a sneak peek of what the Mosasaurus skeleton will look like when finished. And considering how impressive the Allosaurus was, that is going to be incredible to check out here in person. So let's go ahead, pop the slip here off. I'm actually going to go ahead and do that, I think, off screen so that I don't damage this, because I actually want to keep that, and then we will bring it back in and check out the parts from there. And something I didn't really point out, again, just like with the Allosaurus, you have some really cool information here on the model and basically some slight instructions. And then as we get into the packaging, you can see first of all an incredible image here of a Mosasaurus, as well as an image of the skull of the Mosasaurus, and then some information on the Mosasaurus itself. So really cool. And then here on the back, again, you've got kind of some instructions and everything as far as the assembly of the Mosasaurus goes. Pretty important to check that out and read it. And you also actually have, again, the Wonder Artistic Models logo here on sandpaper, and that's something that will definitely help you with the building process. And then you've got your pieces for the Mosasaurus, and just like with the Allosaurus, they're all kind of numbered. You can see an A up here, and as you go through, you'll see B, and it will continue to do that the whole way through. There are different numbers for each one of these kind of sheets of pieces, and then there's information here that you would follow along, like, numbers showing you that 42 would attach here, and different things like that that basically tell you how to build the model. And then you of course have the instructions over there, as well as the images of the finished product to kind of help you along on top of everything. But you can see we've got some really cool pieces included in here as you move along. Definitely a good bit to go through it. It actually kind of feels like there's a lot, but there's really not, because a lot of these seem to only have a few pieces. Now this one, we've got a good bit more, and we can obviously tell which parts we are looking at right there, but I like that as well. The really cool Wonder Artistic Models logo imprinted on it this time, and then we reach the skull of the Mosasaurus, and then some more body parts right there. So let's go ahead, we're going to start building this, and then we're going to check it out again when it's fully built and finished. And our Mosasaurus is complete, and I cannot even begin to express to you guys how insanely impressive this is in person, because this thing is massive. Like, the Allosaurus I was really impressed with due to its size. Not just its beauty, but the size really threw me for a loop because I wasn't prepared for how big it was going to be. But this Mosasaurus massively outsizes that Allosaurus, and of course, rightfully so, you would think it would, but Yet again, it's another one of those situations where I just wasn't quite prepared for how impressive this model was going to be. And similar to the Allosaurus, it's kind of like a learning experience when you start it. It's another one of those situations where you might be a little overwhelmed kind of looking at all the pieces. But just like with the Allosaurus, once you get, going, you get used to how it works. You kind of become a little bit more familiar with the way that it gets put together. It becomes pretty easy and is actually quite fun. And of course, the payoff is when you have it finally finished and looking beautiful here before us like we currently do. Just a beautiful version of a Mosasaurus skeleton, and I don't believe I have any other Mosasaurus skeletons in my collection that I can recall, so it's really cool to have one, and not just a Mosasaurus skeleton, but one as huge and beautiful as this. So let's go ahead and jump straight to a closer look right now. And just like with the Allosaurus, you can see again, it is super highly detailed when it comes to something like this. Like, they have captured every bone that should and would be accounted for on this type of a skeleton and skeletal reconstruction, and brought it to life perfectly. Like, you could see throughout the entire course of the model that everything is accounted for, and even fine details. Like, first of all, you can articulate the jaw a little bit, which is really cool, but if you look on the inside here, you actually have that extra row of teeth that you find on the inside of the mouth of a Mosasaurus present here on this version. And again, you can articulate the jaw a little bit, which is really cool. You can see the teeth are very nicely sculpted out. They look genuinely sharp as well, which is really cool. You've got the eye socket and everything present. Some pretty nice detailing up here on the top of the head, as well as the nostrils up here. And then as you move back, you again see how beautiful the appearance to this is. And just so you know, this area here is just the stand. It kind of actually connects to the model. I can disconnect it. I could pull that off if I choose to, but I'm just going to leave it on right now because why would I take it off? And of course, the fact that this is a really cool kind of like a wooden version of a Mosasaurus skeleton, it has this beautiful appearance to it as far as the coloration of the material used, and I really love that. I liked it a lot on the Allosaurus. I like it just as much here on the Mosasaurus. You can see that we have some life to the pose of the model as well. As you can see, a really nice turn in the neck, which is pretty cool to see, adding again some elements of realism and life in general to it. You've got the rib cage very nicely shown off here from up above, but you can also see that we have the flipper over there kind of leading out away from the body. Same deal over here. I'm trying to be very careful with it because it's actually pretty wide and I don't have all that much room here in my review station area, but you can see as we lead down from like the shoulder down and everything, all of the areas connect beautifully and look amazing once they are finished. And you can actually see the Wonder Artistic Models logo here on the underside, which is really neat. I thought that was a nice touch. And as you continue to run along the Mosasaurus, again, you can see all of the ribs are accounted for. We even have the underside here looking insanely awesome. And you continue to move along until you lead out here into the rear of the Mosasaurus. And of course, we've also got the flippers and everything out here sculpted out. You've got each and every digit accounted for on the model, and I really think this is probably one of the most impressive skeleton models I've ever seen. And you can also see kind of like some curvatures to the body leading down the course of the body, showing off just a swimming movement here for the Mosasaurus. And as you lead out the length of the tail is exceptionally long. I don't know that I'm actually going to be able to get this all the way over here to show you how long it is. No, I'm kind of running into stuff over there. But you can see not only is the tail insanely long, but we also have, again, every one of the bones leading out the length of the tail, perfectly created here for this really cool model. And you also have some nice curves to the tail as you lead out the length. Actually, let me see if I can turn this around carefully. I have a little bit more room leading the opposite way. So first of all, you can see what the skeleton and everything looks like from this side. Again, just as beautiful as what we had seen on the initial side. You've got that really nice skull up here in the front of the Mosasaurus. But again, as we lead out here, you'll be able to get a little bit of a better idea of just how incredibly long the tail is and the really cool curves. You can see that the tail kind of leads up and then curves back down. And not only that, but you can also see kind of swaying left and right as it leads out, also showing the swimming movement, swimming motion here captured on this model. And now my camera's losing its focus. But again, you then have the stands down here, which perfectly balance out the Mosasaurus as well. An incredibly cool visual is this model. Again, it's a lot of fun to put this together, way more fun putting these together than I ever thought they would be. Initially, when I had received these and I started to take a look at them, I was a little worried about how hard it was going to be to actually put them together. They are far easier than I ever imagined, and a blast to do so. And this, again, I think is even more impressive than the Allosaurus that we previously reviewed, just because the entire thing is so massive and so beautiful. It is definitely a must-have if you are a Mosasaurus fan. And like I had said before, one of the most impressive aspects of this model, on top of the incredible visual you get, is the size. So for a size, and this is going to be a little bit tough to do because the tail is so far away, for a length you were looking at about 28.5 inches or around 72.5 centimeters. So really, really long. It would be even longer if the tail wasn't kind of in an upward positioning and, kind of curled and curved and stuff like that. Like if there wasn't so much movement shown, it would be even longer, but I love the fact that there is movement shown. For a height to the tip of the snout here, you were looking at about 7.75 inches or around 19.5, closing in on 20 centimeters. And for the top of the tail, I don't know that I'll even be able to get this in screen here. That's going to be pretty high. So we've got it there a little bit. We'll get an idea of a measurement on this. For a height over here, you are looking at about 12.75 inches or around 32.5 centimeters. I'm sorry if that wasn't the best angle and everything of that, because I was kind of like bumping into the camera trying to reach out and reach that area. But I think that right there, just basically telling you the size and showing off the size, should help to show you how incredibly impressive this Mosasaurus model is. But if that doesn't do it, then a size comparison will. There is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, who is hiding comfortably under the model, as well as Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line. And this is, again, not even showing you the entire skeleton here in one shot because it's so long. You can just see basically what the size is in comparison to these other figures right here. But if I actually pick the camera up and kind of try to show you the entire thing, you can see the tail's way up there. And you can now see, again, how insanely huge this Mosasaurus is next to these other figures. And then for a size comparison between the Allosaurus that we've recently reviewed and the Mosasaurus, you can see a huge difference. Although the Allosaurus is absolutely no slouch in the size department, you could definitely see that Mosasaurus really, really drastically outsizes it. And for one final comparison, here is the Mattel Mosasaurus next to the Wonder Artistic Models version. And although you can definitely see that the Mattel version is quite a bit larger than the Wonder Artistic Models version as far as body mass goes, the length department is definitely one on the part of the Wonder Artistic Models version. Of course, the accuracy as well, but I think they both look really cool and would definitely be a very cool display piece to have positioned next to each other. So this Mosasaurus from Wonder Artistic Models is awesome. Just like the Allosaurus was, I am incredibly impressed with this release. And now I'm so happy to finally have some of these Wonder Artistic Models, kits in my collection, because it's something I've really wanted to see in person for a very long time. I had seen them quite a ways back and was very curious about how good they would be in hand. And I could tell you with complete confidence that not only have they turned out to be really good, but they far exceeded my expectations, like drastically exceeded my expectations. First of all, the thing that impressed me, I think, immediately was how huge they are, because I had no idea. Whenever I had seen images of them in the past, I always assumed that they were not really small, but like desktop size. And although you could definitely put them on your desktop, they still take up quite a bit of room because they are really impressive in the size department. And I like that because it's not something that's so small that's easily overlooked. This is something that will grab your attention and the attention of anybody that comes into your office or your dinosaur collection room, or in this case, prehistoric marine reptile room. No matter what the case is, this is definitely going to grab the attention of anybody who sees it because it is super cool. The fact that it is kind of like that wooden type of a model immediately is incredibly neat. And not only that, but the fact that it's that wooden type of a model that is so accurate to what a Mosasaurus skeleton would actually look like. And again, capturing like incredible fine details, like literally every bone that would be found on the Mosasaurus is present here, and even including those teeth on the inside of the the mouth. I'm really impressed by that. And you also have the ability to articulate the jaw and everything, kind of open it a little bit more if you would like it open, keep it closed if you want it closed. So on top of having an insanely impressive looking Mosasaurus skeleton with a massive size, you also have a little bit of articulation to it. Not much, but just enough to alter the look of it a little bit. So as a whole, I honestly cannot recommend this or any of the other Wonder Artistic models enough, because they are just mind-blowing in person and easily some of the coolest and most unique prehistoric collectibles that you're going to find anywhere. So if you are interested in this, I will include a link in the description to where you can purchase this on the Wonder Artistic Models website. I really recommend anybody interested in doing that to just go ahead and grab this or something from that website, because you're going to be hooked for sure as soon as you get it put together and see how beautiful it is. So make sure you check the link in the description, go buy yourself some of these fantastic models, and make sure you also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.